Hello, good evening. Before starting, I would like to make a very humble request to all of you, all the audience. I remember that when I was a child at my residence, the milk supply used to arrive in glass bottles. It was a very simple and convenient procedure, and empty bottles was to be exchanged every day. There was no problem. But I don't know why a problem arose, and in India we started using polythene for packing milk, and it increases plastic polythene pollution. It should be stopped. So should we wait for Maryada Purushottam Ramchandra or Vasudev Sri Krishna to arrive and they will take an initiative, or can we take an initiative for closing this thing? Just think and then implement it. In coming 3 or 6 months, we shall make a protest to the district administration, pollution control board, DM and all authorities that please issue a ban on this plastic pollution and let milk supply again started in milk bottles. Anyway, I remember in 1966 and 67, I had seen a book at my teacher residence, a book on with animal diversity. And after 10-20 years, all over world, researches started taking place on biodiversity, because biodiversity of any country is very important for its economic development and we have to save them. In 1970-72, when I was a student of MSc, I remember that there was a topic, adaptive radiation in Polychaeta annelida. So, while talking about any animal, any group of animals, we can talk, for example, mammals, flying mammals, swimming mammals, fast running mammals, milk providing mammals, some mammals residing, making a tunnel in the soil and residing there. It is an adventure. It is interesting. But I don't know why, instead of teaching biodiversity all over in India, in all universities, we are teaching classification, which is not interesting. And since first day of entrance in the college, teacher himself is not interested in this topic. So how can he develop interest in the students? Students also used to avoid this topic. So I further request to all the educationists of India that we should try to switch over the concept of zoology teaching from classification to animal diversity or biodiversity. Then it can become more interesting. Earlier, in Indian mythology, there are talks about 84 lakh species. But till now, about 11 to 12 lakh species have been discovered by scientists. What about the rest of the others? We don't know. Either they have become extinct or they are yet to be discovered. Earlier there was a concept of plant kingdom and animal kingdom. But Whitaker in 1966 gave 5 kingdom classification, 5 kingdom concept: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Animalia and Plantae. Monera include the prokaryotes, bacteria and blue-green algae, which have no nuclear membrane. Protista includes all unicellular organisms, whether animal or plant, it does not make any difference. Fungi are separate because they are cenocytic, having many nuclei. And then animal kingdom, plant kingdom. Again, in 1977, Carl Lewis gave another classification. He divided 6 kingdom classification. He added one group, Archaebacteria, along with all the 5. Archaebacteria different because they were very primitive, and this grouping is on the basis of nucleotide sequence of 16S ribosomal RNA. So now onwards, in the week, first 3 days we will talk about this type study, and rest 3 days we will talk about modern biochemistry, physiology and modern genetics. In this 5 kingdom classification, again, the animals are divided into 2 categories. Non-chordates, there is no non-chordate group actually. It is just a use. Scientifically, there is nothing like non-chordata. The animals are divided into different phylum, Protozoa, Porifera, Cylindrita, and one group is one phylum is chordates. And I further request you to all educationists that there should be much more emphasis on biodiversity and adaptive radiation. There is a very interesting book, Invertebrate Zoology book by Barnes, B-A-R-N-E-S. It is a classic book, very interesting book. I would like to take a favor from you. First of all, we will discuss about chordates, and about non-chordates we will start from 15th July. The name chordata was used for the first time by Balfour in 1880, and it is presumed that perhaps first chordate was Anictozoon. In the Ramlila program, you must have seen the arrow and bow used by Maryada Purushottam Ramchandra. There is a bamboo stick and there is a thread cord. This stick is termed CHORD cord, while this string is CORD. So, in terminology, note in the word notochord, this CHORD is used, and in neurochord, this CORD is used. There are 3 important features in chordate. Actually, what happened? Earlier, the animals were earthworm, cockroach, etc. were very small, and they were crawling on the land. So, any change taking place on the land surface was affecting them too much. So, the nervous system was present on the ventral surface. But when the size of animals increased in the chordates, what happened? Only the digits, forelimbs and hind limbs used to touch the land. So what happened? Any change taking place on the dorsal surface was much more important. So the nervous system shifted on the dorsal side in the chordate. So there are 3 important features of chordates. The dorsal tubular hollow neurochord, a notochord. Imagine that if you have to spread the bed sheet on your bed, it is simple, you can spread it. But if you have to fix the mosquito net, then what happens? You have to use 4 metallic or wooden rods for lifting that mosquito net. Same thing happens here. When the body size of the animals increased, a supporting structure was needed, and the nature developed a rod-like structure for supporting the body, and that rod-like structure was called notochord. This was along with a double notochordal sheath, and the cells were highly vacuolated. It is interesting that on the one side they are very strong, and on the other side they are also elastic. The flexibility is also there. For example, in our movement, what happens? We need to stand erect, but sometimes we need to bend this side or this side. For this rod notochord is elastic and it can bend up to certain extent. So it has been built on this plan. The third thing was that earlier the chordates were living inside water. For us, drinking water and taking food may be different processes. But for a fish takes in water, and along with that water, food particles also come in. So what will happen? For just 10-20 grams of food, about 5-10 liters of water will pass through the alimentary canal. And we will need much more digestive enzymes also. So the third very interesting thing nature developed in chordates was that in the pharyngeal region, in the pharyngeal wall, some window-like, slit-like structures developed which were called pharyngeal gill slits. And water used to go out from this. Only food particles used to travel forward in the alimentary canals. So this is three important characteristic features of chordate. One, dorsal tubular hollow neurochord. Its anterior region develops into a brain. Then a highly vacuolated, elastic, still strong notochord and the pharyngeal gill slits. With this change in the position of nervous system, position of heart and blood vessels also changed. So let us see what happens. About 49,000 species are reported in phylum Chordata. If we compare a non-chordate animal with a chordate animal, then the position is, in a non-chordate animal there is a ventral neurochord, whereas in a chordate animal there is a dorsal neurochord. So there is a dorsal blood vessel, there is a ventral blood vessel. In non-chordate, in dorsal blood vessel, the direction of blood flow is from behind to the anterior. So a part of dorsal blood vessel becomes the dorsal heart. In the ventral blood vessel, the direction of blood flow is from anterior to posterior. Whereas in chordate animals, what happens? Just reverse. Nerve cord is dorsal. A part of the ventral blood vessel develops into ventral heart. So in ventral blood vessel, the direction of blood flow is from posterior to the anterior, and in the dorsal blood vessel, the direction of blood flow is from anterior to the posterior. So this is an interesting feature differentiating the non-chordates with chordates. Later on, suppose you have to lift the mosquito net, you need only for about 6 feet long rod. But if you need to hang the canopy of a big program, then what happens? Very long and more thick bamboo are used. Here also, when the chordates become much more developed, then simple neurochord and notochord were not sufficient. Their strength was less. So what happened? Nature developed a ring-like structure around this neurochord and notochord, which we know vertebral column. And when vertebral column developed, the notochord became less useful. Much of the notochordal cells were modified, transformed into centrum part of the vertebrae. In between two vertebrae, we get some notochordal cells which are called intervertebral disc or nucleus pulposus. So a very interesting thing is that when we are standing, the intervertebral disc present in between two vertebrae is compressed. But when we fall asleep or when we die, then it relaxes and our height, length of the body slightly increases at the time of sleep or at the time of death. Now, these chordates are further divided into two groups, protochordata or acraniata and second vertebrata or craniata. Invertebrate or craniate will have a cranium or brain box and a vertebral column. But in primitive chordates, the protochordata or acraniata, we do not have any brain box or cranium around the brain, so they are called acraniata. The protochordata are further divided into three groups: hemichordata, urochordata, and cephalochordata. And we can discuss it with example. Example of hemichordata is balanoglossus. Here the body is divided into a proboscis, collar, and a trunk. Another group, cephalochordata, is fish-like in structure, and in all other animals, when we compare the neurochord and notochord, the anterior-most region of neurochord forms the brain. So notochord is extended only up to this point. But in cephalochordata, what happens? It has an adaptation for burrowing habit, and this notochord is extended even beyond the nerve cord. It provides strength to the anterior tip and helps in burrowing. So it is called cephalochordata. Example is branchiostoma or amphioxus. And there is one more group, urochordata, whose example is Herdmania. It is also called sea skirt, like young girls which wear a skirt with a tunic which covers almost all body. Here also the body of these animals are covered by a tunic-like structure. So they are also called tunicata. Only one opening is there for entrance of water, and there is an opening with which water goes out. So this was the brief introduction. Detail we will discuss on the next one. Thank you very much.